Elizabethan foods.
People of the Elizabethan era ate a variety of foods and had many interesting customs. Elizabethan people ate many different things for breakfast.
Some breakfast foods included bean or pea porridge, eggs, salt fish, cold meat, or cheese. Servants had porridge at least at 6:30. Their masters had a light breakfast of a little bread and butter and a pot of ale. Queen Elizabeth had breakfast consisting of mutton, stew, beef, veal, rabbits, or chicken.
The times people ate dinner and supper depended on their status.
Leisurely people ate dinner at 11. Merchants ate at noon. Supper came after dinner. Leisurely people ate supper around 5. Merchants ate supper at 6. And farmers usually ate at 7 or when the chores were done. The Elizabethans enjoyed meat.
They were mainly meat eaters. They ate beef, mutton, lamb, veal, kid, pork, coney, capon, pig, venison, fish, and fowls.
I love meat.
They did not like salty meats that much because it made them thirsty.
I want the salt on my meat.
Meat was a sign of wealth. According to Philip Stubbs, nowadays, if the table not be covered from one end to the other with delicate meats of sundry sorts, and to every dish a sauce appropriate to its kind, it is thought unworthy of the name of a dinner.
This isn't really a dinner.
The Elizabethan people also ate other foods, like snacks and dessert. The fruits they ate included pears, plums, cherries, and strawberries. There was an expanded use of sugar. They were fond of desserts, like pastries, tarts, cakes, cream, custard, crystallized fruit and syrup, sugar, and marzipan.
Say, will you split one of these cakes with me?
Oh, sure.
All right. The Elizabethans used a variety of places and ways to cook their foods.
They often used open flame cooking. Some places had a pantry and a buttery. Nicer houses had wet and dry larders, a spicery, a meal house, and a sieving or bolting house. They used pots, pans, kettles, skillets, cauldrons, knives, ladles, meat forks, and scissors. They also used spits and roasting instruments, posnets, chafing dishes, graters, mortars and pestles, boilers, cleaver axes, dripping pans, pot racks, pot hooks, gridirons, frying pans, sieves, kneading trowels, fire shovels, barrels, and tubs. Sometimes a baking tray made of a hardened pastry called a coffin was used. They had some pretty weird customs.
An average dinner in the Great Hall would be similar to the following. The table was U-shaped and headed by the lord or lady. Those who sat to the left were of a lower class. Those who sat to the right were higher class. The tables were covered in Turkey carpets or velvet cloths and then covered by a linen cloth. On top of this was the salt dish, which was the primary ornament. Sometimes it was referred to as the magic salt dish. Above it sat the upper class, and the lower class sat below it. The well-bred people above the salt avoided gorging themselves and guzzling. If a stranger sat above it, they were respected. If they sat below it, they would be thrown out. They washed their hands before grace. After grace, the lower class went crazy and stabbed the meat. The people above it were more orderly and waited until they were served. They ate great quantities of heavy food. Some had customary belching grounds. Sometimes the table was decorated with birds, animals, fruits, baskets, wine, glasses, dishes, playing cards, and trenchers out of a crisp mottled sugar called sugar plate.